Python peeps, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Pi Everyday. We take you through the Python programming and then give you the basics of how you can write your Python codes. Okay, so in this episode, they are in two folds. I will teach you how to use or how to run your Python codes without any text editor or any IDE. And then in the second place, I will take you through the Python syntax on how you can write your Python codes. That's how to write a simple Python code in a correct way without having any syntax error, and then also how to comment or how to make comments in your codes. I'm going to take you through how you can run a Python code or write a Python code in your CMD terminal without doing them in any text editor or any IDE. Okay, so the reason why I'm teaching you this is because, let's say you've encountered a problem with your text editor or IDE and you've got some idea and you want to test and see if it can work. I mean, you have some code you want to test and see whether it can work. So the only thing that you have to get is to install your Python. So if you have your Python on a machine, only just open your CMD and then you test without going through the headache to be launching any text editor or something like that. Okay, so mind you, this using the CMD is only for testing and then some other things. But if you want to write a huge line of codes, then I beg you should use a text editor or an IDE. Okay, so this is how we are going to do it. You first go to your start menu and then you type CMD, or you can say command. Both the CMD and the command will give you the same result. So by typing CMD or command will give you the same result. So typing command give us the same result. So I'll just press on enter, and then our CMD terminal has been launched. Okay, so but before that, we will need to check if we have Python on our machine or not. Okay, so if you have Python on our machine, you will know. If you don't have it, you will know. Okay, so we have two ways by which we can check whether we have Python on our machine or whether we have installed Python on our machine. Okay, so the first way by which you can check is by saying Python, and then # or -- version. Okay, so Python -- version, and then you press enter. Okay, so by pressing enter, you will see Python . So it will depend on the version of Python that you've installed. So let's say you have Python 3.9, you will see Python 3.9 going, and then let's say you have Python 3.11, you will see Python 3.11. So I have Python 3.10. That's why I'm seeing Python 3.10.2. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's clear the screen. So you can clear your CMD terminal by CLS. So by typing CLS and pressing enter, will clear off your CMD terminal screen. Okay, so let's go the other way, or let's see if we can also do the other way of checking whether we have Python on our machine or not. Okay, so the other way is simple. You just type Python, but with this one, it will take you from your directory. So here you can see that we are in the users Tosky Brown directory. So here it will take you from the directory and then take you into the interface of Python, the Python that you have on a machine. So by pressing enter, you can see that we don't have the directory anymore. So here we have the Python. It will take us to the Python 3.1, 3.10.2, and then the other information that we have over there. Okay, so these are some of the ways by which you can check whether you have Python on a machine or not. Okay, so here let's quit. So by this, when you clear off the machine, it will give you an error. Okay, so here it says name CLS is not defined, meaning that you are not on the Windows CMD terminal. It has taken the Python interface. So you can do this by saying quit. So by typing quit, it will take us to the users Tosky Brown, and then so here if we say clear, it will clear off the screen for us. As simple as that. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is to test to see if we can write some Python codes on the terminal or not. By now, so we know that we have installed Python on our machine, so there's no need for us to check again. So we go straight to the point. But before that, we need to go into the interface. You see where I wrote Python and then also pressed enter. So I wrote Python and then I pressed enter. Okay, so here I'll just write Python and then press enter so that it will take us to the Python interface. So here we can write any kind of Python code here. Any kind of Python code here. Yes. Okay, so let's try and see. Let's test a line of code and see if it can work. So here we are going to print pi every day. Print pi every day. Every day. Okay, so print pi every day. Now this will give us an error because it is a string, so it must be in a double quotation. Okay, so and then we press enter. So pi every day is working. Okay, now let's try and see if we can write 2 lines of codes on this terminal. Okay, so A, we will assign A to the value 10 and then also assign B to the value 20. Okay, and then we will print A plus B. Okay, wow, print. So okay, so we were supposed to type print, not patent. Okay, so print. Okay, so you wonder how I got back the print or the patent again. Okay, so I only press the top arrow on my keyboard, the top arrow key on my keyboard. So by pressing the top arrow key, you will get back your last typed word on the command prompt. So here you can see that I'm having them all. Okay, so I'll just change the T to R. Okay, so now we have print A plus B. Then I'll press enter. So now you can see that I'm having my answer 30, meaning that the A is 10 and then the B is 20. So when we have A is 10 and then B is 20, so the addition of both will give us 30. So now we've been able to write a Python code on our terminal. Okay, so let me quit this and go back to my directory. Okay, so I'll clear off the screen. So the screen is cleared off. Okay, so now let's say I have an already existing Python code. So let's go to the desktop. I have an already existing Python code and I want to run and see whether it is working. So I'll just come here. So this is an already existing Python code. So with this Python code, I have pi everyday.py, and then with this Python code, I've written a line of code which is print hello world. Print hello world. This is the line of code that it's going to print. Okay. So after running this code in the CMD, we will see hello world. Hello world. Okay, so let's go straight into the terminal. We will just change by saying change directory. So the CD means change directory, and we have our file on our desktop. So the file is on our desktop. Okay, so the file is on our desktop. That's the pi everyday is on our desktop. So I will only change the directory to the desktop. And you all know that the desktop is also a directory. If I say directory, it means a folder. Yes, the desktop is also a folder. So I will just change the directory to the desktop folder or the desktop directory. Now you can see that the directory have changed from users Tosky Brown, and then here you can see the addition of the desktop. So now it is telling us that we are on the desktop. We are on the desktop directory. Okay, so here we are now on our desktop. So meaning that any files, or we will be able to access all the files on the desktop folder or the desktop directory. So here we will just run the Python existing code by saying Python, and then the name of the Python file we want to run. So the file name is pi everyday. Okay, pi everyday. But don't forget to add the extension of Python. So the extension of Python is .py. So you need to add the extension of python.py, and then you press enter. So after pressing enter, you can see that we've been able to run the Python code, the already existing Python code. So when I open the folder, when I open the file, you saw the hello world. So it's the same thing that has run here. You've been able to run that Python file on our terminal without using any text editor or IDE. Okay, so that is the end for the video today.